Good morning, everybody. It's Jane Johnston with the Barry Hill Group at Remax Camosun. I'm with...
Who am I? Who are you with? You are with Andrew Plank. I'm with the Vibe Real Estate Group and LePage.
And we are here today on April 4th. May the April 4th be with you. For all you geeks out there, I know.
That does not work.
Welcome to the Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Jane Johnston with the Barry Hill Group at Remax Camosun, and this is Andrew Plank.
Yes. Okay. Welcome. Let's get started. We're going to talk stats today because it's the end of the month or the beginning of the month. So representing the end of last month. So we get to sort of recap what happened in March.
Yeah. And actually last quarter. So we're taking a bit of a longer view. So I went and drew some stats looking at trends over the past 4 years.
You're making them up.
I'm not making them up. Okay. First of all, if you do like the show, please like us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channels. Comment because we want to hear what you have to say, and share it to your friend who wants to hear this. Because they do. Everybody wants to know about real estate. It's a very hot topic. Okay, Andrew, take it away.
Yeah, okay. So it is, as Jane mentioned, April 4th, 2024. So we have, in the last week, we had 307 new listings go live. 125 properties went pending, 86 price decreases, 2 price increases, 8 back on market, 182 properties transacted, 90 properties expired unsold, and 2 were withdrawn by the sellers. Now, let's compare that to last week. Now, last week we had 281 new listings. We had 168 pendings, so more pendings last week than this. We had 85 price decreases, very similar to this week, 3 price increases, 2 properties back on market, 135 properties transacted, 26 expired, and 3 were withdrawn. So in terms of ratios, we see new listings higher 60%. and pending properties lower this week versus last. What's up?
Okay, so I just did the stats. So we're at 60% for last week and 41% list to sale ratio for this week. But we're building up new inventory. That's the biggest difference. And we're following a spring market trend.
So. Yeah, I also find things are a little bit funny when we get around long weekends, and we had the Easter long weekend. So that always kind of messes with the stats. So our last week could be seen as, it's sometimes best to not exactly throw out these stats, but take them with a grain of salt.
Right. And this is just really, it's a market market snapshot, right? So I like this. I find it very valuable because it allows us to just see, okay, it's feeling hot. Is it hot? And it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So month to date, so obviously we're dealing with 2 different months here. For Monday, March 25th, we had 446 unconditional sales for March 2024 compared to 590. So we're down month over month for the years. New listings were at 1084 for March compared to 1,118. I'm just surprised that the so the ones on the right are for the full month, right?
I was going to say, when we look at that 588 on the right-hand column for the full month of March 2024 is almost equivalent to the 590 from the year before. So our sales are almost bang on.
Yeah, and new listings were up year over year, 1310 compared to 1118 from March of 2023. And active listings were starting to build up an inventory at 2647. And that's up about 25% over last year. So
yeah, it's actually down over last week, though. So last week we had 2655. This week we have 2647. This has been growing week over week for quite some time. So it's interesting to see a slight drop in active listings. And I wouldn't be surprised at seeing this active listings number start to hover or even start to go down as we move into spring.
So interestingly, like I had a listing come live just over March break, and many people were away. Um, so I think that's why things seemed a bit slower. Well, we went from 60% to 41%, but it does feel like there was more talk and activity over the past week. You?
So yeah, I mean, the coaching I've been giving clients has been who were out looking for properties, and they're saying, I'm not seeing what I'm looking for, and I've said, okay, we're not going to see anything in the week leading up to Easter. People are very likely not going to be listing a home to go new on market just to hit the wall on that long weekend where people are kind of distracted, not generally as active. So a lot of people will be putting off their listings to the next week. So I expect today, in fact, I've got a listing going live. My partner Josh had a listing go live. So Vibe Real Estate is got 2 listings dropping. We've got another one coming next week. I know that this is what people have been waiting for. I think they've been waiting for after Easter. So we're going to see a lot of listings coming live, but I think we're also going to be seeing a lot of activity because I think people are starting to get a lot more positive about where interest rates are going to go. And with that additional selection, I think it's going to open up people to buy properties, to actually be buying properties, which will then actually open up more property listings. I've got a lot of buyers who are waiting to buy and then list.
Huh, interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who are looking to buy. I have, we've been looking for a long time. They're getting a bit frustrated. So there's a bit of buyer, what's it called when you pent up demand?
Pent up demand, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's in agreement with what I'm seeing. I feel like there's a bit of a buildup of interest, and depending on where things go with interest rates and what the next month stats have, I think will be really telling on whether or not we are running ragged this spring and summer, or we are just more business as usual.
Right. So let's see what's going on. Total
Mhm.
active listings over the past 2 years. We're following our hump, our regular spring hump. So with the listings building up over the spring, I always tell people when you list in the spring, you have a longer market for the year.
Mhm.
So that's why we try and list early. We did see our seasonal lows both years in December, and quite a rebound this year. So, and
Yeah, and
interestingly,
overall, the inventory has just been going up over time.
yeah,
Um, it does go down every winter and then builds up again, but it's definitely on the rise.
yeah, agreed. Okay, total new listings to total sales. Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, again, going back, March 2022, pretty much around the peak of the market, I guess, at that time. And you could see actually at that point, we just sort of hit that peak and we're starting to go down again. Sales were going down, new listings were still coming on. Those big bars are the listings. Bit of a lagging indicator there, I guess. Since a slowdown in the summer, pop up again in September 2022, then comes down again to that lull we see every year in December. Coming back, skipping the year of 2023, and looking at what's happening this year, we can see sales are mounting. We're on a pretty good trajectory of sales coming back up. Again, to be expected, we see this annually. And the new listings also building up as well. So I think we're in for a fairly normal to active year.
Feels like it's going to be very active. I have a feeling like with the pent up demand and with the interest rates possibly coming down at the mid year, that I'm just seeing a lot of people just kind of waiting. That's what it
Yeah,
feels
and
like.
this is the thing, you guys. There are people waiting, and I've got clients. They're getting more and more active. Just were texting me this morning about a property they were curious about. They thought about it for a couple of days and they're like, can we see it today? I looked into it. It's been 2 days on market. It's already unconditionally sold. There are going to be people, once the interest rates lower, who are waiting for those interest rates to lower before they take action. That pool of people are going to really impact the market. If you want to get ahead of that, and gamble on interest rates coming down, you will probably be better off because you won't be in as competitive a situation, and you may also be paying less for a home than you would after those interest rates lower. So there's some gamble there, but I think it's a safe gamble now, fairly safe.
So I just went to a Remax conference, and in speaking with agents across Canada and also throughout the United States, it is more active elsewhere than it is here. And if you look at the market as kind of a flame going outward, we're on the periphery of larger markets. So I think, hold on, people, it's going to get busy.
Yeah, so I just was reading a newsletter from a colleague in Vancouver, and he was referencing a property that listed and got 37 offers and sold for 750,000 above asking, in this market in Vancouver. And so we do tend to follow the Vancouver market. There's a bit of a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the most offers I ever got on a listing was around 18, which is still quite a few. But 750 above asking, it's kind of nuts.
Did he deliberately underprice it?
There was a newspaper article, and folks, you can probably just Google, house sells 37 offers, 750 above asking, Vancouver. But they did want to create a bit of a frenzy. The seller was underwater on their mortgage and needed to have a quick sale. And the agent, and good on her for doing this. Everything does find its level, and she was confident and aware that if they priced it at the right price point to gain multiple offers in the right market, you do want to make sure you're in the right market for this, that it would find the right level. And they got probably above market. They set a new record for that area by actually asking less than that. So
I tell people that all the time, but they don't believe me. It is risky for the
it's
seller.
hard. Yeah,
There
it's
is
hard.
there are ways to mitigate it, but we're not going to talk about that today.
No. Well, and let's just quickly talk about it. I remember some years ago, a listing in our marketplace came up, and it was probably 2/3 of what it should have been. Like the price was ridiculous. It was really, really cheap. And I had 3 or 4 different sets of clients calling me, can I see this home? Can I see this home? Can I see this home? I had to explain to them that, you're not going to get it for this price point. If I have a bunch of people calling me to see it, every other agent in Victoria does as well. We tried to show it. We did show it. It was a gong show of people running through, all going through at the same time, different agents, different people. It was a zoo. And then it went to multiple offers, but it was a little bit beyond the time when it should have been. Again, it depends on your market, and people were tired of that kind of practice, and it didn't reach the price point that that seller was willing to sell for.
Yeah,
So that was just a whole bunch of wasted energy for a whole bunch of buyers and their agents in Victoria. So it can work against you, but generally, right strategy. Jane and I have the right strategy. It will work.
Right. So the what Andrew's saying is sometimes you lose power when you try and push the envelope, and the strategy of listing really low has backfired here, and some agents have refused to show properties because of that, like previously. All right, so we are in a balanced market according statistically. A seller's market is anything from about 30% up, and we're just below that at a balanced market. I always find it's a very fine line. And what happens, there's a great book called Shift by Gary Keller, and it's about how the market can just flip on a switch. And we could see that happen last spring. I expect we're going to see a bit of a switch coming up.
Yeah, if you look at January 2023, where we went into a seller's market, from January on. We do also follow that seasonal path quite often. So I wouldn't be surprised if we definitely get into seller's market territory this spring.
Yeah, and this is all just about how many properties are listed and how many are selling. So that's why when we do those stats, I'm looking at it. So speaking of that,
Mm-hmm.
looking at our annual summary here, and this is so the stats that I'm pulling are from Victoria, but they may vary a bit just depending because the program I'm using is slightly different. So it's saying there's 2007 active listings at the end of the month of March 2024. Sorry. Over the past 12 months, 5,685 properties have closed in Greater Victoria, and we have an absorption rate of 474. That's number of sales per month. And so what that
On
says
average.
on average, so what that says is that if we have, let's say, 600 listings coming up, on average 474 are going to sell, and so we're going to get a net increase in sales.
Yeah,
And
really, if you look at our current inventory 2007, and then assume that every month 474 is going to be taken out of that, if we had no more listings come on market for the next 4.24 months, we'd end up with zero inventory.
yeah, so the month
That's the
supply is 400 4.24 months, but when during COVID, I think it was like 7 days.
yeah.
Remember?
The 7 days in terms of months of inventory, like
Yeah,
we would
it
run
was.
out of. I don't remember that, but that's yeah. But we were really low inventory. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and then the last stat we have here is percentage months of supply of inventory. So that's 23% month supply of inventory. Hmm,
You know what that
interesting.
stat means? Because I don't.
I don't really understand that stat.
Yeah, we're gonna
23,
have to think on that
20,
one.
yeah, 23% months.
Percent months supply of inventory. Okay, well, let's not get stuck on that. Let's move on.
Okay, I really like this one anyway. It had to do with a comparison over the past 4 years. So if we look at the number of units sold during COVID 2020 and 2021, we had 8,000 and 9,000 units sold. Over the past 2 years, we were fairly steady around 6,000, and we're on our way this year. Obviously, year to date, we don't know exactly. But in terms of the dollar volume of sales, we peaked in 2021 at I can't really read that stat, but I think it's 8.176 million. And you can see after 2021, we came down a bit. And so this, if we look at both the number of properties selling and the price, that's why we came down. And then average days on market, I'm really shocked that it isn't showing more variety, actually.
On the average days on market.
Yeah.
I mean, we have micro markets. We have, the average days on market might be really short in the spring and then longer and later on in the year. And these years tend to average out. But it's interesting that average days on market was shorter in 2022, where we really had, I think, a busier year in 2021, as you saw with everything else. The volume and the number of units sold. So it's interesting to see the days on market was actually less in 2022. And right now, currently, we're at a longer days on market than we've been since before 2020. So things are sticking around longer in general.
Well, 1 or 2 days longer. That's not
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's still
Anyway,
I mean, we're talking stats. It's an indicator, right? So
yeah.
we're definitely not the same market we were. But again, as Jane said, things can shift on a dime. So Average sold price versus asked price is always an interesting one because these could be positive or negative numbers. Um, and actually, a lot of these should be sold under asking. But so I'm not sure what these percentages are actually doing. 2021 would have been on average 2.4% above asking. 2022 at 1.5% above asking. Oh, I see. That lowest line is at 100 would be at 100% of asking.
100%.
So the 2020 was just on that line. It was really, things were selling right around asking. And 2023 a little under asking, 2024 a little bit more under asking, but still within a percentage point of asking price.
Yeah, we're doing well. What's interesting is that so we saw bumps during the market where the price went up incrementally. I think two major times during COVID, and but we're holding steady over the past 2 years around just under average price. This is based on the statistics that I pulled from this program, which accesses the Victoria Real Estate Board's market stats. So we're at 974. So if you look over the last year, it was 989, and the year before that was 993. So that says to me we're still doing pretty well. Sellers are sticking to their price range, and also it says because it's average. I noticed that the lower prices have come down, but also the upper prices have come down as well. So we're just seeing a bit of a shift, but the average isn't changing significantly.
We had I've referenced Leo's talks a number of times, but Leo from House Hunt Victoria just recently did a talk for our brokerage and was talking about mortgage delinquencies, or at least people getting behind on their mortgages. And he was looking at some stats for the West Shore and some stats for condos versus single family homes. And he was speculating that we're going to be a little softer in the non-single family home area, simply because that is a higher population of younger buyers, first-time buyers, who are going to be maybe a little bit more impacted by inflation and by these higher interest rates. And so those people are going to have a harder time actually being able to afford homes, and also a harder time holding on to homes. So there might be more inventory coming up in those lower price point type of inventory model homes.
You know what? I believe that, but I also think that parents are stepping up to help out their kids. That's one source. And there's
We
actually,
don't, yeah, we don't all have parents to help us though, or
yeah,
parents in a position to help us.
but like I've had a few conversations over the past week and also at this conference that I was at, that parents are looking to give away a bit of their legacy ahead of time if they can, which is interesting to me, to give their kids a leg up. I don't know if it's always
Yeah.
a benefit.
These aren't the people who have the bumper sticker that says I'm spending my children's inheritance. These are different people.
So you can get a gift letter from a family member, and they'll which means that you don't give it back, the money that they lend you, and you can put it towards a down payment. And so if your parents can help you with like up to 20%, that just goes a long way to helping you qualify. And so with whatever the generation is before us,
Mm.
um, they have a lot of equity in their homes if they managed their money and stayed in the same home for a long time.
And last week, if you, Jane wasn't here last week, but Jen and I did talk about a Zillow, was it Zillow? Zoocasa report that was talking about how long it takes the average person to save for a down payment in different centers of Canada. And certainly it's like in some centers, it's 50 years to save for a down payment for a home. In Victoria, I think it was 18 years on average to save for down payment on a home. That's based on your average income in Victoria versus, the cost of living and so forth, and the average house price. So that leg up is really, really important for getting somebody to get ahead of that curve. And, parents, really do consider helping your children out if they are responsible and able to manage a home. and maybe you might consider helping them get into one.
Yeah. Okay, so this was a month supply of inventory for March over the past 4 years. I thought that was interesting because March tends to be one of our hottest months in the market. So in 2021, the month supply was 3.13, went down over 2021 and 2022. So what's also interesting is in March of 2020, I don't know if you remember, but a lot of people just took their houses off the market. Like
Right.
they exited the market. So, and
Yeah.
then we didn't rebound till later. And it was
Nobody
like,
would want, when the fear of COVID was really at its height, people did not want other people coming through their homes.
yeah,
So there was just and that caused the inventory to dry up, which caused the people who really desperately wanted to get out of their current situations and into a home, again, for perhaps safety. The market just took off.
yeah. So 2021 and 2022 were at 1.34 and 1.14. So that's a fast market. And then 2023, we've gone back to 3.26. So again, March of 2020 was slow. So relatively speaking, what we're seeing is a slowing of the market. And now we're at 4.24, 2024. That's where that number comes from. So we have 4.25 months of supply. All right, so
Perfect.
that's up 271% over 2 years ago.
Nuts.
Okay. And then looking at the last 3 months, we're seeing the month supply of inventory. The 5-year average is 2.63. So we are up over that for sure. The highest one was in October of 2023 at 4.63, and the lowest was in December of 2021. So do
So
you remember that? We
points.
actually had
Yeah.
C.65. So we had more sales than we did listings coming on in December of
Yeah,
2020.
absolutely. Yeah, that's right. It had inverted that month. So 0.65, so about, 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks of the inventory would turn over. If we didn't have another property list, then all the remaining inventory, we'd be at 0 listings. That being said, I find these stats interesting because nobody's going to buy that overpriced house that's listed at twice its value. It's never going to sell. But this stat is really useful for, in a perfect world, looking at how quickly the inventory is expected to turn over.
Yeah. And so we're just seeing that we had a slow spring. That's what we're seeing over the last 3 months. We had a slow spring, but as Andrew and I are both saying, it feels like it's picking up.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
So again, going back to we're just now seeing 2 years ago where we were at that peak and things started to come down. So it's interesting that we've moved forward far enough that the past is starting to get harder to see. But average price in March 2022, 2 years ago, was up around above 1.4 million. And it dropped pretty substantially over time, which is funny because prices don't generally drop quickly. They tend to go up more quickly than they come down. But in this case, because they come up so quickly, I think there was more room for them to come down.
I think that's when we were also getting I think we had like 5 interest rate announcements.
Yeah, the interest rate hikes and everything else. So that really helped to bring everything to a grinding halt. And then it's sort of business as usual, pretty steady state for quite some time, maybe a bit of a rise up until we hit kind of summer of 2023, and then really slowed down again. And I guess, again, the interest rates had just sort of done their job and everybody kind of hit that point where they were exhausted, real estate exhausted. But we've come back to, I think, another steady state with potentially, and actually, my crystal ball says we're moving back towards a, rising price environment, rising demand environment.
Yeah. So I have buyers who are moving from here. They're sellers moving from here to Toronto. And it's just interesting because I told them, I said, we need to follow both markets. So I put them in touch with a realtor in Toronto, and they're looking and seeing, oh, things are moving faster, and they're going over asking, we should buy there now. Oh, wait a minute. Things are just starting to pick up here. Like once you start educating people, then they can make really good decisions. But uh, the, as I said, we're kind of just starting to reach the heating up point, and we're behind other markets. So you can only this is well and good, this graph, uh if right now is a good time, I think, for people to move up in the market, because if prices move up, then your equity is going to move up with you. Know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
it does depend if you buy first or sell first. If you are looking to move up, you obviously have a home that needs selling. So if you sell first and buy later, you you could risk that the market, you lose the difference as the market goes up. If you buy first and sell later, you could benefit, as long as you're in a position of being able to afford that situation. And you definitely, even if it doesn't look like you can afford that, there are sometimes options. We have mortgage brokers that we've worked with that can look at your home as more of an investment property, as if you were going to keep it, and set up a scenario based on approving you based on rental income on your current home. But yeah, I mean, there's always risk when you separate the difference, the greater difference in time between your buy and your sell. But which side you put that on is going to have a really big impact on what ends up costing you to make that move.
I'm a big fan of buying in a depressed market where things have kind of gone like this,
Hmm.
so that when the market rebounds, they go like this.
Of
So you
course,
get that lift. Yeah.
of
You just
course.
have to have money to do it, right?
Yeah, that's the funny thing is money begets money, right? It's
True.
hard for anyone getting started, and that's where we really do encourage and want to help people get their foot in the door in real estate and get going, so they can eventually get to that point where they do have more options. You want to take away the condos?
Sure. So 2 years ago, we were around 675 for condos. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride for sure. Part of it is seasonal. Condos do better spring and fall, I find. And that's because of things like UVic, Camosun, people moving in and out. There's a transition happening. So we're seeing a bit of a lull during the winter of 2022, 2023, and then again this past winter. But we're back up around 625. So I would say if you were to look at this over like a 20-year period, it would look fairly flat.
Okay,
All right, row townhouses, go ahead.
I'll
Let's
let you
see it.
take this one. I'm on a different screen, actually. I'm just pulling something else up.
Okay. So again, if we were to do a trend line through this, we would see a slight decline. So we peaked in April 2022 around 950, and this is, remember, the average. And so there's a great variability in quality of townhomes, and we're looking at Greater Victoria all the way from like Shawnigan Lake to Souk to Sydney. And so we are seeing a slight decline here, and we're just below 850 here, around 825. There are some really nice townhomes that are coming up that are beautiful, gorgeous, high-end townhomes in downtown Victoria. And then we have the other scale outside of the core, which are more reasonably priced. So we're really balancing off where these houses are selling. All right,
Hmm.
Andrew, needs and wants.
Oh, hang on. Go back to that. Needs and wants. Yeah. Well, oh boy, do I need stuff. I need a townhouse or single family home in the West Shore under 1 million, 1.1. I need a single family home under 1.1 without a suite, or 1.4, I would say, with a suite in a highly walkable location in the core. I need a fixer-upper home, sort of investment home under 800,000 or 850. Buyer is pretty much in a cash position of being able to buy. I need a condo with pet-friendly condo, no size restriction on the dog-friendly condo, downtown area, not downtown, but in the core area, close to town. Under probably 650, one bedroom is fine, preferably ground floor so she can walk the dog in and out. I
Oh,
need
yeah.
a condo for two bed, 2 bath condo for some folks that in preferably a newer, nice building. I need a 2 bed, 2 bath condo in Sydney or townhouse with air conditioning, preferably under 1 million, 1,050,000. I mean, I could definitely continue to go on, but I will hold it there.
Okay. That's interesting. So we have a number of new listings that just came up this week. So let me just pull this up. We have a great one on Rithit if anyone's looking. It's 2 bedroom, 2 bath. It's a corner unit. It is at hold on, my current listings. It is at $499. It's just over it's 1050 square feet, and it's been on the market one day. We're getting a lot of showings. That's a great area of James Bay. And the corner unit means you get windows on 2 sides, which is really nice. We also just did a price reduction on our listing at 3842 Cactus. So this is a 4 bedroom, 4 bath, 3,000 square foot home on a 1 acre lot. It's very private, really nice area. It's my neighborhood. And that one's at 1624. And then we have a road townhome on Vancouver, 306 Vancouver. It's a 1 bedroom. It's 700 square feet. We have a subject to sale offer on it, but it's still available if people want to see it. And then we just listed a great little house on Caspian. We're doing an open house this weekend. It's 2,343 square feet. That's 4 bedroom, 4 bath. Caspian is in Royal Bay. And what a great neighborhood. I've been showing a lot of properties in there, and it's just really
It's a tight little neighborhood. There's
really nice.
yeah. The nice thing is, in a number of years, hopefully, when that's fully built out, it's going to be a good center and really tie much of that area together. And you've got some great beach area down below as well, and volleyball courts and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is,
So,
and Cactus is right beside that area in
mm,
Metchosin, which is why it's such a great investment.
yeah, that's right. So Metchosin is not as keen on development, but you can benefit from all the development nearby. So those are all really good ones to consider. Um, Okay, well, we just listed 3240 Harriet Road, went live today. It's a 1952 home with 3 beds, 1 bath, unfinished basement. It is 835,000, so it's a great price, and it's a really solid little home. There's actually, I mean, sure, it could use some updates and everything, but it's a good value for someone.
Where's
Um,
that?
it's on Harriet Road, so between Blanchard, sorry, Douglas and Burnside, in that section
Yep.
between Douglas and Burnside. And again, nice yard, nice flat yard, beautiful. It's got wood floors. It's got, again, some updated windows, if I remember correctly. I just had a walkthrough of it. It's my partner Josh's. He's got the lead on that one. I suspect it'll get a lot of activity. And then I've got a listing to put live today. If you don't mind, I'll just share the video, but listing to go live today on Church Avenue. So this is 1550 Church. It's a top floor unit, pet friendly. This is near Mount Tommy, so it's a really great area. See if I can hit play on this. Is it gonna let me hit play?
You have to go to your yeah.
Okay, hey, welcome to the garden at 1550 Church Avenue. This is a wonderful 2-bedroom, 2-bath, top floor corner unit. We are located near the corner of Shelburne and Cedar Hill Road, near Mount Tolmie. Excellent access to you, Vic, if you have renters or if you have students who are wanting to buy. Come check it out. Love to show it to you.
What is it? Okay, enough of that. But 617,800, 2 beds, 2 baths.
Does the furniture come with it?
Isn't that nice? You might get the bar stools. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. So what's your prediction for the next year, Andrew Plank?
Oh,
The remainder of the year.
I think we're going to have a pretty busy spring, and then depending on what interest rates do, it could be tumbleweeds in the summer, or it could be that we are working a really, really busy summer throughout. It's too far away to make a prediction. It's really going to depend on. It's all interest rate dependent, I think. That's interest rate every day, all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna make a guess that we're gonna have a hot spring. And I think that that's based on pent-up demand. And I think that the interest rates are really gonna bump things up this summer.
Yeah. If interest rates come down, I think we'll get a really bump and be really busy throughout the summer. So that's, I agree with you there. I just think if the interest rates, if for whatever reason the banks, if the Bank of Canada is bearish and decide not to lower rates, or for whatever reason increase them, then we're going to be dead in the water. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I think if they stay the same, people will start to feel a bit more confident. But if they decrease, there'll be a bump. We'll see. I think there'll be a slight decrease. That's my hope anyway. That's what everybody's saying. That's what everybody who's in the know is saying. All right, you guys. We're don't forget we're on every Thursday at 9:30. So if you want to, please subscribe to us on our YouTube. You will get notified every time our show comes out every Thursday. And don't forget to comment as well. We love to hear what you have to say. Andrew, how do people get in touch with you?
They phone me at 250-360-6106 or text. Text is probably better because I could be on a show like this or doing something else. They email me at info@andrewplank.com, or they follow me on social media, including Instagram at plankandrew.
Awesome. And if people want to reach me, my number is 250-744-0775. My email is briarhillgroup@gmail.com. You can visit us on our website at briarhillgroup.com, and we can go to the Victoria Real Estate Show to see these episodes and more. You can also check us out on each of our YouTube channels. And you can follow me on Instagram at realtyteacher_remax_Victoria, or our group one at Briar Hill Group. All right. My phone is running off the hook today, so
Yep.
I've got to go and get to work. Have a great day, my friend.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And thanks, Jane. Always, as usual, a lot of fun and a pleasure.
Thank you. See you later, buddy. Bye.
Bye-bye.